Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it is time for another Premier League review show. As you can see, we are without Oscar today. I've just received a text not too long ago to say he's had a power cut in Southport. He's probably not topped up his meter or something like that. He's on the breadline in the Oscar, living in that posh place, Southport, so there must be something amiss. But yeah, he's not going to be with us tonight. We're drafted in Mike from the Blue Boys Network. Great to see him, because the last time we spoke to him was prior to Man United, and you were on the floor. You were going to get relegated. You then beat Man United. Burnley, struggled to win at the week. Well, get a point at the weekend. I think that's favourable for both of us. And obviously the sacking of Dyche, what I want to talk about as well. Things are looking a lot better for Everton. And of course, we've got Corey, the regular, and he's going to talk about European football and the potential of a final. Amazing, man. Amazing. How are you both doing? All right?
Yeah, good, man. Mate. Good.
Can't complain, even after a draw. So, you know what I mean? After Thursday, it's, I was saying before, obviously, it's buzzing for about 3 days straight. I haven't quite got over it. Problem is with these Europa League wins is it takes about 2 hours after the game for me to register it, and then it takes me about 2 days to get over the feeling. So, being in a semi-final, mate, it's nuts. Of any competition, but to be in a European semi-final is, nice, incredible.
Yeah, amazing. I woke up to a few missed calls as well from Corey. I think he must have been on the beat.
I got to tell someone. I can't just walk around, London, Liverpool, and all the tubes and that. It was, it was mental. And those West Ham fans out there, they're loving life anyway, going abroad. But the scenes were nuts, mate. The scenes were crazy.
If you get to the final, mate, hook by crook, are you just going to go over anyway?
I'm getting like that with Frankfurt, to be honest.
Yeah,
all of these, they're not just away days; they are full on events, and the atmosphere, it just looks incredible. But if we do get to Seville, then I've got to be out there even without a ticket, to be honest. I've got to be part of it, because it's unprecedented, really. I know we've won European Cup Winners' Cups and things like that, but listen, when you get a chance, as most teams will know, in this type of competition, you just got to be part of it. So
Are you even bothered about the league anymore, Corey? Obviously, top four's a miss. I know you drew at the weekend. Thankfully, Souček got one back. I was convinced you were going to win it. Antonio probably should have scored at the end, but Nick Pope pulled out some very, very good saves. What are your thoughts just on that game? And obviously, Burnley, Ben Mee being the manager. I don't know what's going on at Burnley.
Yeah, it's weird, actually. It was these games after Europe are always strange, because you kind of wonder whether West Ham are going to be fatigued. But to be honest, I didn't feel like we were that fatigued. There was a decent feeling around the stadium, and I think the players fed off it a little bit. It took us a while to get into the tempo of the game. Westwood obviously breaks his leg. It's horrendous. I don't really want to even see it back but it broke the play up so much and the momentum. And we just slept from a set piece. There were 3 set pieces almost in a row, and West Ham just switched off. So it was a weird one. Burnley get it. Obviously, they missed the penalty, and they are not the team that you want to be 1 goal behind to, because they are going to sit deep. They're going to make it really difficult for you. But obviously it's drop points. Obviously, we had to go and win that game, irrespective of whether we played on Europe. But it's hard. It's really difficult for me to be too negative, because of what they give performance-wise. Not just results, but the performances. Sevilla in the second leg and Lyon in the second leg. There's genuinely not a player that puts a foot wrong. There feels like they're almost 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10. So,
do you know what? Well, like, even as a non-West Ham fan, like, it's nice, and I guess Michael agree, it's nice to see a non-top 6 side doing well. That's why we all enjoyed Leicester. That's why we all are enjoying, West Ham's exploits in Europe. Go on, Mike.
I actually didn't enjoy Leicester at all.
Oh, really?
I didn't, because literally I heard about it before I saw it from Leicester fans. Whereas West Ham, you've gone about your business well.
Yeah.
When we spoke last year, Corey, I said you do well under Moyes, and I'm actually weirdly I'm proud. Like, I'm proud of Moyes. I kind of feel like he's finally getting what he's deserved. He's had that financial backing at West Ham. I'm still confident that he'll get you to a consistent European team. It might not be the Champions League at the minute. It's really difficult to break in. But if he could win that tournament with West Ham. A good side, in my opinion, probably the best side in the competition at this point. And I know, some West Ham fans might not want to hear that. They might prefer to be underdogs, but they probably are the best side. I'm just really proud. So, I couldn't stand it when Leicester did well, to be honest. But I'm really enjoying West Ham doing well. Apart from when you beat us like that. I hate that.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's weird to see, actually, the reaction of other fans from other clubs. It does feel very much like there is you see it on social media and everyone's going, go on, give it a good go. Like, for us, it's dreamland. It's like you're watching against these teams in these stadiums and you're thinking, and I'm at a point now where, listen, I think we need to go almost all in. Like, genuinely, I'm even looking at Premier League fixtures. We've got Arsenal after the first leg. I'm thinking, park that. This is a real chance. And to be fair to some of these players, they've stepped up on a big occasion. Declan Rice was phenomenal on Thursday. Now, I don't want no questions about, can he play at this level? Can he do this? He can pull the string at any level. He's done it in the Euro final, and it was no different. And Jared Bowen as well was sensational. Two players there that have been so consistent over the course of the season. Just to see Mark Noble maybe lift a trophy before he retires would be, it'd be pinnacle. That'd be it. I'd be done. I'd be like, there's no point. There's nothing that's going to top it. It just really, I'd be like, I'm happy with that.
You then play Champions League football next season.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's big implications for that as a squad of doing that. And you look at Declan Rice, it's will he, won't he? Will a club come in for him? Who's going to pay money for him? I think if we could do that and get Champions League football, I think he would give us another year because he matches his ambitions. So,
absolutely, I think West Ham are thoroughly enjoyable to watch as well. It's not like they're just dogged team that are just getting results, winning 1-0 like Moyes did for Everton. It was quite boring football at times, but he did really well for us. But with what the West Ham are playing against Burnley, for example, every time they went into your half, there was some counter-attack, there was some pace on the wings, and he set that side up really, really well, Moyes. I just think you're a really good football team, well-balanced, well-structured, well defensively, good going forward. I think the only thing you could possibly argue is the only thing that will hold West Ham back going into that next step at this moment in time is just that out-and-out 20-25 goal a season striker, because I love Antonio, but he has these moments in the season where he doesn't score the goals that he's capable of.
Yeah, I agree. That's the toughest thing, Mike. I'm a big sympathiser of Antonio because I know what he brings to the team. But yesterday, he has an opportunity. A lot of games, everyone has to play off Antonio.
He has to.
Probably more, to be honest, where he is one-on-one with the keeper. He doesn't look like he's got that extra legs, but at the same time, I have to be critical. When you've got 2 or 3 seconds to set yourself, the minimum I'm asking for you isn't even necessarily to score, it's to get it on target. Because Jared Bowen will follow in, Pablo Fornals will follow in. That is the difference. And I think we saw that in the first game against Burnley. It's those games where Antonio, the emphasis was on him taking his chances. He just can't always do it. He was brilliant earlier in the season, probably the most composed I've seen him in front of goal. But there's no doubt it's not just squad depth, it's a profile of striker. Last 20, 30 minutes of games you can bring on and you can bank on. And listen, that's
Sebastian Haller's all right.
Not in the Premier League, he's not. No, but we won't even go into that. Well, that's another one with him bagging hat-tricks in the Champions League that I've had to sit there and watch. But yeah, look, Moyes has done a lot to try and help Antonio. Bowen's playing a lot closer to him. Bowen set him up a few times yesterday. He's working his socks off. So, yeah, I have to be critical. We should have been winning. That's a game that we should have won. But, like I said earlier, how can I dig them out? Someone put in the comments about Craig Dawson. Dear me. I've not seen an improvement of a player like Craig Dawson in a long time.
I bet he can't believe it, I bet he can't believe it. Some of the players in that squad probably are scratching. I thought the social media game by West Ham was absolutely amazing as well. Like with the Dembele stuff and that, and then Rice was getting involved. I love alt like that, mate. It's great work, man.
Yeah, some of the videos coming out, I don't know if you probably wouldn't have seen them because it's very like West Ham centric, but even on the Instagram account of the team celebrating near the away end, near the end, and there's David Moyes and singing his name, and he's just like, and like Mike said earlier, it's not just a West Ham thing. I mean, it partly is, but it's a football thing where a manager that was completely written off is almost adored by the fan base now, and other people will be looking at that going, wonder if there's any other managers out there that have fallen on tough times that can kind of come back up, but. He's a top coach. He's a top coach.
It sounds awful, right? And I'm genuine, like, sounds awful, but I almost hope you have a poor season next season, and then the board do something stupid like sack him, and then I just think, please come and rebuild Everton, please. Like,
but that was a conversation at one point, wasn't it? Obviously, you didn't have a manager, and then they was thinking bring Moyes back and back him. But I think you know what he's like, Mike. He loves a project. He loves to be part of something for years. And every time he talks about West Ham, it's never, oh, we need this player in at this time. It's always, where are we going to be in 4, 5, 6 years' time? So we need that. We don't have a structure. Like I've always said, he is the guy that is the glue. People like Mark Noble as well is keeping it together. So yeah, he's done more than it's not just the football side. It's the club. It's the trajectory.
I'm not jealous.
No, I'm not even gloating. Like, you know, it's more. Just enjoy it, because we all know what football's like. It's spells and up and downs, and probably some more so than others. So I've got to drink. I've got to drink it. Yeah, you got to come back up on the curve. You got to come back one at a time. So
you're fucking joking.
Well, no, it's true though, right? So
maybe.
Do you know what though? Like, football is cyclical, right? It goes in cycles, and obviously today for Leeds United fans, great day. Derby County confirmed relegation to League One. Life comes at you fast. You know, it was only a couple of years ago they were doing this on our pitch. You know, you had Frank Lampard dancing. Someone left a turd at Ellen Road in the middle of the floor after they beat us. You know, this sort of stuff happened, right? And then now, today, they get relegated. And then I started, like, obviously diving into them. And I've got Leeds fans replying to me going, be careful, we're not safe yet. And I'm not like that, mate. For me, it's all about living in the moment, because, yeah, we might go down. But today, I'm happy. Today, I can rub it in. Do you know what I mean? And that's how it should be, you know, because we've been down there. Now I'm enjoying the demise of Derby. You know, they might come back one time. I don't, you know how it is. But yeah, like someone said, we're not safe yet. Like, calm down. Right? I think we are. But even if we weren't, I'd still be rejoicing in the fact that someone that I dislike is on the guy. But it's not that deep. It's just football, isn't it? We enjoy these moments. Do you know what I mean? And it was nice for them. So when you do get them, especially clubs like ours, like, we're not like them teams. I mean, you've only to look at the FA Cup final and see the state of the crowd at City. And I'm not digging. Look, we know they don't have great support anyway, but there was you're talking hundreds and hundreds of seats in that FA Cup. And is that down to the fact that Man City? Obviously, we know there was travel issues, but is it also down to the fact that Man City fans are becoming bored with it? I've heard Big Steve talk about on the Big Six how his son didn't even want to go to the Carabao Cup or one of the cups, because he was like, Dad, I've seen it all. Whereas for Steve, he was down in the lower leagues. This is like amazing for him. We would rejoice in that similar sort of vibe. But, you know, I just think about, I don't know, let's say Newcastle in 10 years, some of the young ones that might support Newcastle might get bored of it if they continue in the trajectory we all expect them to. But the ones that have been there when they're, you know, since day dot will be going to every cup final. You know, I think, you know, maybe it's just the way footy goes. It's just the way footy goes. But Mike, obviously, like I said last time, you were genuinely on the floor. Last time we spoke to you, you were convinced after being beat by Burnley that you were going down, and then you know your home form. You know, I know you've got Leicester, I think midweek Wednesday, but you beat Man United. I know that's not a big thing. I mean, they had to go punch for Norwich, and that's saying something. Do you know what I mean? But you must be feeling a lot better now. And obviously, Burnley's sacking Dyche, which I think is proper heads gone moment. How do you feel for the rest of the season?
Yeah, you'll understand this, but not necessarily from this season, Joe. Just, you know, in the past, you have this feeling, and Corey, you'll know it as well as a West Ham fan. You'll know it where you're just above the drop. And you're like, I really want to be positive. Like, I want to be optimistic. But you sit there and you just think, every time I get a bit above myself and I get a bit happy, we get sucked into this shit. So I'm scared of saying, yes, I'm buzzing. Look, if we'd have beaten Burnley after we were 2-1 up, or even we got a draw, I think 7 or 8 points was enough. Like, you are 8 points above Burnley. I think that's enough. I think Leeds are safe. But I don't think 3 is, especially with our running. So, you know, I said, and I publicly said this on my channel, I said it weeks ago. I said Everton, in the week where we play Wolves and Newcastle at home, we needed 6 points to stay up. We got 3. So in my mind, that 3 points is the ones we lost 6 weeks ago. So that means we need to find an extra 3 points from somewhere. Now, I was hoping, and again, no disrespect to Corey, I was hoping that was away at West Ham, because I just thought with the European games, I thought maybe there's a chance that we can get a result at West Ham. And we were in the game for a decent period of time. But again, their quality showed and they beat us. So I need to get 3 points from somewhere I don't expect. And I think that game could be Chelsea at home. We have to beat Leicester. That's a given. We don't beat Leicester. I still think we're banging trouble. We beat Leicester and we beat Chelsea. We're safe. We're done. Like that. I'll put my feet up. I'll cancel the channel. I'll finish. Done.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So yeah, I'm still scared, mate. I still think we're going to go down, but that's just because I'm.
You fancy Burnley to survive then, eh?
Look how well they played against West Ham at times. They could have been 2-0 up in the first half. I don't, whether it's Michael Jackson or Ben Mee or whoever was managing the team, they seem to get a tune out of that Burnley side, and I'm concerned when they've got a couple of home games coming up where, as Corey rightly said, they go 1-0 in front, really difficult to break down. I'm just concerned that as much as people have said the Everton home form will keep them up, maybe the Burnley home form will. And then based on the fact that we have Leicester twice, Arsenal away, Liverpool away, it's not like I'm talking about easy games there. Chelsea at home. These aren't easy games for any team in the league. So, yeah, I'm scared, mate. I'm scared. Yeah. So I'm not saying we're safe. I'm not.
No, that's fair, mate. I'm just having a look now just to see if I can find who the favourite is for the Burnley job, because I thought they were just going to see Ben Mee and like you say, Michael Jackson.
It's such a strange decision.
Mad.
Let's be honest.
Ben Mee?
I'm not even sure.
Early 30s, I think.
I thought he was mad because I rate him as a defender. I think he's a decent
32.
defender.
32.
Mad.
Yeah.
Mad.
But Chris Wilder, I've seen Chris Wilder earlier on, but Chris Wilder's just gone to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough will push next season, I think. So I just don't see that happening. I don't know. It just smells of Big Sam, but I don't know.
And that scares me.
Yeah.
That scares me because if anyone can keep up a side like Burnley,
exactly,
it's him.
Yeah.
He's got ready-made options. He's got Dwight McNeil.
And he hates us because of what we did to him.
Yeah.
He's got Weghorst, 6'7" up front. Everything fine. No, but it's true. I know it seems a bit sort of taking the mick out of them, but if someone like him was going to come in, and I was just looking at the fixtures now, they've got Southampton at home, Wolves at home.
Burnley have some very winnable fixtures, don't they?
Easiest.
Because I think we've got Palace, City, Chelsea coming up south. So.
So the other manager they've been linked with is Daniel Farker. And you sit there and you just think, well, take him because
take him. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Have him because apparently Sam doesn't want the job. But mate, honestly, I'm terrified. Shit in my pants.
He's going to go to the wire as long as it don't go for Leeds United to that final game against Brentford.
You'll
down
be fine.
there. We'll. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I do agree with you. Guys, we have 67 likes. We've got over 200 people watching. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already. So please do that. Let's see 100 likes on the video ASAP. And please do both subscribe to Corey and Mike's channels. Both links are in the description. Right, let's move it on. Obviously, we were treated to the FA Cup semi-finals at the weekend. Obviously, Liverpool, Chelsea will meet at Wembley in the final. We'll start with the Liverpool game. Obviously, the quadruple still on. That must be so painful for you, Mike, by the way. And they were unreal in that first half. They absolutely blitzed Man City, and I don't think really any of us expected it. Let's be honest. They're flying at the minute, aren't they? I think they play Man United tomorrow as well, and they're going to pick up more points there. Are you concerned that they could actually do this unprecedented quadruple, Mike?
But it's Everton, isn't it? So Everton will get relegated and they'll win all four. That's what, and then they'll literally for the rest of eternity take the piss out of us and inject our tears into their fucking veins. Yeah, mate. Look, if you were to ask me who I think is going to win the league, I hate to say it, but I think it's Liverpool, because I think Liverpool are more consistent than City. I see City have this blip, this moment where they'll play a Brighton or a Palace and they don't win, they get a draw or they lose. You see that. Liverpool are a machine. Champions League, I sort of feel like that is always Liverpool's competition. Like, I hate to say it, but it is. And then the FA Cup game, I mean, that was an absolute joke. I mean, I know we'll touch on it, but cheers, Chris. Thanks, mate. But when you sit there and the keeper's been changed and the spine of the team's out, and I sort of was looking at Pep, thinking to myself, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Because it just enabled Liverpool to just have the freedom of Wembley, and they absolutely decimated them. And it was really horrible to see how good they are compared to how terrible we are, and we are literally quarter of a mile apart.
It's mad, isn't it? And you know, you touched on it there, the goalkeeper, Corey. You know, I think Zach Steffen obviously makes a howling when you compare it with the way Ederson dealt with a similar sort of mistake in the previous week. You know, and the way he dealt with it on the line. Ederson obviously is cool as a cucumber, but. What are your thoughts on, obviously, the tinkering that was made, but also the goalkeeper situation? Because Zach Steffen has played every single game up until this point. You know, do you think, I know Arsene Wenger used to do a similar sort of thing in the Carabao Cup with his young sides, is just keep the same team regardless of where they were in the competition. But do you think at the business end that Pep should have gone with, you know, Ederson, or do you think that's unfair, or are we just looking at it because he's made an error? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, you look at most ties, Man City are dominant. You wouldn't really have to rely on Steffen necessarily digging them out. I think just because of in this game, they were dominated to the extent that they were, that it's kind of highlighted it. If I was Pep, which of course I'm not, I'd play Ederson against Liverpool just because of how great a keeper that he is. I think in terms of the tinkering, listen, I think it benefited Liverpool midweek. They were able to rotate. They obviously had the lead against Benfica, and it just showed. And I think someone's mentioned before about Pep having to deal with fixture congestion, which is nuts because we're talking about Man City and their squad depth and their players, but it did have an impact. And listen, I've seen it even with my team this season. You can't compete on all fronts, even with a City squad consistently at that level. And we've seen with Liverpool City, the level is so high, a drop off, just a tiny drop off is enough. And I think the big thing for Liverpool, and what has been the big thing since January, is the front five, the options that they have just to bring in. Mane can play as a centre forward now. You can bring on Jota, Diaz. Like that level of depth in those positions is the difference. So I just think he got caught, Pep, and he's obviously going to go for everything that he can. I actually still think City are the favourites for the title. I think they'll do it, but I've got a feeling Liverpool are going to get a treble. I think they're going to win the cup competitions. I just can see it happening. Yeah, I think they'll beat Chelsea in the final. I can't see. I don't see Tuchel. Tuchel obviously lost them previously, unless he changes it drastically. I just think Klopp's got the bit between his teeth, and I don't see. I just don't see it. I just think City win the league.
Yeah. Do you think as well? I think that Liverpool are undefeated now against City as well. So even psychologically, it can have an impact, you know what I mean? The fact that City, I think, is unbeaten now in like 4 games in that. It might be more than that, but even just them changes, and obviously, like you say, Liverpool were able to rest players and they battered them. It might even have an impact psychologically, you know what I mean? To say, we just can't seem to get past this Liverpool side. So it'll be interesting to see. But I've got a feeling it'll be 2 apiece. I think City will do the Champions League and the league, which should be better. Like, that's the 2 you want. And I think Liverpool, FA Cup and Carabao, you know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see. You can't split them, can you? It's mad. It's like, I know obviously the Man United-Arsenal rivalry, Fergie Wenger and stuff, but this is just like a pure football rivalry. And it's something that we'll probably look back on, you know, and say, oh, well, what about, 2000 and, around
them two have changed the level of the Prem so much to the point when I watch some of these games, I'm thinking, are we in the same league as these lot? Because they're like, they're so good. Like even teams that have been great, even you look at a Chelsea team just won the Champions League, it's just not on that level. And Tuchel's a phenomenal manager, so
it's only going to get worse as well, mate, when these 5 subs come in next season.
What, and they sign Haaland, you mean, for City?
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying, and then I still can't understand why that's been passed, because the off chance you might be winning against them, and you've got 20 minutes left, and you somehow 1-0 up, and you're hanging on, and then Pep and Klopp and that just go, right, let's stick 5 players on, and then they just absolutely batter you. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's it's mad. Just while we're on that as well, changes. Obviously, there's something come out today where apparently managers might be doing from next season doing half-time interviews. Like, I think does that mean they'll extend the 15 minutes that we have, or who's going to do the team talk? You know what I mean? It all just seems a little bit strange, Mike. How are you feeling about this? These changes that are getting put in, that are, for me, ruining it.
It's mate, it's pathetic. It's absolutely like the league. Let's be honest, and it sounds horrible because we all love our football clubs and we all love football, but the league is turning into a joke. Like, you see VAR decisions, you see these decisions that are made with the substitutions, you see these broadcasting TV games on days where, like, for example, they're not thinking about the smaller clubs. They just think about the top 6. So therefore, it doesn't matter what happens to Everton or West Ham or Leeds, because we can play 2 games in 3 days, which is a joke. Honestly, I think it's pathetic, and it really concerns me where the league is going. It's not about us anymore. It's exactly a year to the day where we spoke about the big 6 breaking away, I think it was. And when you sit there and you see the changes that have come in with the Champions League, and then this half-time interview where they're not going to interview the losing team's manager but the winning team's manager. Well, all right, so let's say West Ham, for example, they're 1-0 up against Frankfurt. David Moyes has got to deliver that message. Boys, keep it tight at the back, make it difficult, make sure that you hit them on the counter, etc. They've got the pace up front, and you're not allowed to deliver that because you've got to speak to some reporter telling them how you're feeling. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll work, to be honest. I think the managers will tell it to jog on, and I hope they do, to be honest.
Yeah. You can't, like, it just pisses me off, mate. If I'm being totally honest, it really, really pisses me off when I see it, because it's like, if something is not broke, it doesn't need fixing. And like you said, Mike, we got through that Super League, but really, it's still been created like right under our noses anyway. I think
even worse.
It's worse. You're right, man. You're right. And this last Champions League performance in the last 10 years means you guarantee the spot. It's not fair, bro. Because honestly, it's just like society. I'm sorry to go all political and that, but it's to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. That's all it is, man. And that's all that's happening in the Premier League. That's why they didn't want Newcastle involved for so long. You know what I mean? And
that's what's happening in life, Joe. It's what's happening in society, full stop, man. Don't know about you, but my energy bills are killing me.
I seen a funny joke, actually. It said, like, a lot of parents like to call the kids after expensive things, like Porsche, Chardonnay, and all this. She said, in 20 years' time, there'll be kids called gas and electric.
Scottish power.
That's it. Brilliant. Yeah. Stop messing with the game, man. That's all we're saying. Right. Well, Liverpool will play Chelsea, of course. Chelsea beat Crystal Palace. Do we think that's just a Liverpool winner? They're going to win that one, do we think? Or can Chelsea compete in that final?
I think it could compete. I just think Liverpool are too strong. Chelsea, for me, are not. They're great games. Liverpool-Chelsea games are great games. They definitely are tactical battles. I just think Liverpool, this end of the season, with the quality that they've got, I can't see it really. And I just think defensively as well, like Konate, Van Dijk, the centre-backs are fantastic. So I just don't see Chelsea posing them too many issues. But who knows? I think Tuchel's record isn't great. I know he's won the Champions League final, but he has got to finals where he struggled. I think Chelsea domestically has struggled in the FA Cup to win it. So not necessarily, I know they've won it 8 times, but recently when they've got to the final. So maybe that has something to play.
Hasn't the man competed? This might be totally wrong because it seems wrong as I'm saying it. Maybe 9's too much.
It's something crazy. It's a crazy record. I know you.
Tuchel, though, seen coming in as like got crazy amount of finals, hasn't he, with Chelsea since he's come in the door. When you consider they were 9th under Lampard, he's right up there, Tuchel, isn't he?
He's top, mate. He's top manager. He really is. Honestly, like I find his teams I find his teams fascinating, the way that they play. You look at when he came in, I know he had a squad to work with, and I know they'd spent 200 million, but he genuinely is. Yeah, you see that. His ability to go into that team, and every time I watch Chelsea play, their game plan is never the same from game to game. I think the only thing that's hurt Tuchel this season is the Lukaku signing. He's just not been able to get enough out of him. And that's the only thing I would say is he should know Tuchel. He's got everything in place. He's got the right fit and the right profile. Just that signing doesn't make any sense to me because it doesn't look like a Tuchel signing. It just it's flopped. It has. Like bringing him on 20 minutes against Palace is just
I heard Lukaku's desperate to come back to Everton. That's why he's desperate.
Do you think he leaves though? Do you think he leaves in the summer?
Yeah.
And they'll have to take a massive, massive hit on him, won't they? And he'll have to, wage-wise, you'd imagine.
I think they could get 60. I think they could get 60. I mean, Lukaku's still a fantastic striker. I'm not getting away with it. It's just it's the system, and I think a lot of clubs will know how he's performed in other leagues, and he has done well in the Premier League as well. I know he's not working for Chelsea, but
as a West Ham fan, and Lukaku being the type of player he is, would you take Lukaku?
I'll take him tomorrow, mate. You having a wind up?
Because he would be in my mind, is the sort of striker that West Ham need. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility either.
Really? I don't think we've got a chance.
Champions League football. If you have Champions League football next season, I genuinely think, why not?
But
think about Pokemon's evolving. I think if Antonio was to evolve, he'd become Lukaku. Do you know what I mean? It's the next.
What his finishing just got better, and then he's like almost complete. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I don't see Lukaku. I think Lukaku, if he goes, that'll be his Premier League career. Sort of. Yeah, it's just not worked out really. You could argue, and will he go back to Italy, over to Spain? I don't know. It's not going to work under Tuchel, and Chelsea surely aren't going to get rid of Tuchel anytime soon, are they? So seems a bit of a mad one, but yeah, it's mad. Especially Corey, we did this show at the start of the season, and we said, you had City, Kane. As soon as Chelsea got Lukaku, we were like, right, that's it, game over. I remember that. I forget which. It might have been against Arsenal. I can't remember where he was just pinning the centre back.
Oh, it was incredible against Arsenal. Brilliant, yeah.
And then
he's a brilliant player. Like,
yeah.
I can't. It's easy now to look at him in that Chelsea team and go, it's just not working. He's not the same player. But we were waxing lyrical for a reason. We just seen him in the Euros, and he was absolutely brilliant. Just come off of a season with Inter Milan. He'd won the league. He'll go somewhere and bag goals. Yeah. It's just he never feels for me like he's a fantastic player, but in terms of that elite top 5, top 3, he can't quite break into it. I just think those other strikers have something. They're either ridiculously clinical, or you've got someone like Kane that can play make, and he's kind of not really that. He has to have it a bit suited to him.
Yeah. I think it was Pablo Mari, weren't it? And then Pablo Mari was like never seen at Arsenal again.
Bombed out, wasn't he?
Yeah, bombed out, wasn't he? Cool. Right, well, let's talk a little bit about top 4. Of course, Spurs being Spursy. After hammering Arsenal for getting beat by Brighton, they go and get beat themselves by Brighton. Arsenal have now lost 3 in a row, and I've been a big advocate of Arteta, but maybe I was being a little bit too kind, because 3 losses in a row now is not great. And I have this horrible feeling that somehow, considering the season that Manchester United have had, that they're going to end up getting 4th spot. Like, it's a madness, really. Obviously, I think Ronaldo, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but obviously he gets another hat-trick. Thoughts with Ronaldo anyway and his family, because we've seen a little bit of the news about his one of his twins before we came live as well. So thoughts with him, and I've seen a few people mention it in the chat. So thoughts from us to the Ronaldo family. But yeah, top 4. How do we see it unfolding? I think we all thought it was Arsenal's. Then considering Tottenham's form, locked in, Tottenham are going to get it. And no one seems to want it. And like you were saying, Corey, it's a real advocate of how poor the teams outside of Man City and Liverpool are. The fact that nobody wants this top 4,
Yeah, they could. I think Spurs managed to get a bit of consistency. I think it was the first time in a while they'd won 4 games on the bounce. But I mean, I know we're not really in it, but you look at our form, it's win-loss, win-loss, and Arsenal as well now losing 3. Their last run of form in the last 5 games has been poor. I think with Arsenal, it's interesting because I just feel that is such a young team, and it's a team that's trying to cope with the expectation. And Arteta is a young coach, but I didn't expect the drop-off to go from losing your fullbacks, losing Thomas Partey, who did struggle against Palace, for them to be like this. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans would tell you that they should have signed players in January, and it was exactly the same thing that we were at. And you look at who's bought in January. I know Tottenham struggled on Saturday, brought Kulusevski in, and that's actually given them a chance on Bentancur. So, yeah, I can't see Arsenal getting it. I just can't see them getting it. I just think it's too much, and they need a real injection of confidence, and they need quality as well. No Tomiyasu for 3 months is crazy to me, and he was fantastic. Back four's in disarray. And I think Lee Gunner's somewhere telling someone I told you so.
True, man. Yeah. That's every time Arsenal get beat, I think of him. I can't lie, I do.
I'll go and watch it.
Just
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Mad. I mean, Mike, is there any chance Man United finish top 4? Obviously, they've got Liverpool tomorrow night, so they'll probably be on the other end of it.
But yeah, there is, isn't there? I mean, and it's frustrating. Obviously, you'll have this obviously probably a deeper hatred than me and Corey have. But it's very frustrating how poor Manchester United are, and it just demonstrates how poor these teams are in the league. Really, the between say 4th down, there isn't actually a huge amount. It's just consistent quality. You know, Norwich go to Old Trafford 2-0 down, get back to 2-2, and you'd argue even had the chances to make it 3-2 in their favour until Ronaldo was, sensational, rolled back the years. Arsenal probably, and the fans and the club, they'll be kicking themselves. They had a three game advantage at one point. They were in 4th with 3 games in hand. That's how much they've bottled it. So, Corey's right when he's talked about a young team. Like, he's absolutely spot on, and that team just hasn't been able to deal with it. They lost the captain in January, which, look, whether he was playing or not, I don't know how influential he was in the team, but I just think that's always difficult when you lose the player with Aubameyang's profile. So, again, don't feel that was great. They've got issues off the field. Players like Nketiah not knowing what he's doing. So, I think Arsenal have bottled it. I think, to be honest, it's between Spurs and United. Who isn't going to bottle it more? And it's Spurs are very Spursy at times.
Yeah. I think because I swear they've rescheduled the North London derby towards the back end of the season as well. I think maybe the game before last or something like that. So that'd be nice. It'd give it some extra spice if indeed it did go down to, say, Spurs needing a result in that to stop, Man United maybe getting 4th spot or whatever. But as a Leeds United fan, to see Man United get 4th after the season they've had would be so frustrating. So frustrating.
Honestly, I watched the game. They did it on Sky Sports, did Game of the Day, right? And I watched it, and every time I watch Manchester United, I honestly have no idea what's going on. Like, I look at them and think, there's no style of play. Everything's really slow. And Bruno Fernandes had a really poor game. Pogba as well. It's just not seen. And ironically, Lingard played 60 minutes, probably one of the better players, hauled straight off. It's
mad, I was listening to something earlier, a podcast, and they have a Man United fan on, and they were speaking about how just how mad it is. It's like Ranić's turning to like Mata, who's probably not going to be there next season. You know what I mean? He's got the whole. It's just weird, Matic as well. I think Matic played, and the night before he'd said he were leaving at the end of the season and all this, and it's just proper strange. Like, I don't understand it. But listen, if they get Ten Hag, and we'll see. See what happens there, but I don't know. There's a lot of like overhaul needed. This is
the thing, mate. Like, they're talking about Ten Hag, and I appreciate that it's a bit of a fever pitch. He's the guy. He's got the Ajax model. They play brilliant football. But I say this all the time. He needs complete and utter backing. Like, he needs full control. It won't work otherwise. There's no point in bringing him in and saying you've got to work with this player or you've got to do that. And there's some big decisions to be made. Maguire could leave. There's players like Scott McTominay that have been there for a long time that just don't suit him at all. Players leaving out the door. Cavani's been injury prone. He's off. Like, it's a massive job.
Yeah, and Corey's right. And how many people have came over from that league and been a huge success in the Premier League and been able to turn a club like Manchester United round? We've seen it. Frank de Boer's come in. Everton had Koeman. It did a decent job at Southampton, but didn't pull up any trees with Everton when he had £200 million to spend. So I think whoever takes that job, it's just a poison chalice. At this point, Manchester United are nowhere near the club that they believe that they are. They're just nowhere near it. The stadium's falling down for a start. There's flood. There's leaks. Toilets are leaking on the fucking floor below. Horrendous.
I agree, and I think that they've. I mean, it's funny because obviously I think back to the way the fans reacted when the start of the season when they brought in Champions League Varane and they brought in Ronaldo and they were going to do this and do that, and then Ollie gets sacked and then Rangnick comes in and it's like the second coming. The way people went on about Ralph Rangnick, by the way, was just like, and the guy's gash. Let's be honest. Technical director, he might be good, but the results on the pitch have been shocking. You could argue Ollie was better. Do you know what I mean?
I genuinely believe they would look better with Ollie.
Yeah.
I can't even believe I'm saying that because most people watched it and went counter-attacking football. Like that's it. It's Scott McTominay, Fred. Like that's the process. He's not a strong enough personality, Rangnick. Like even the things that he's saying. He said the other day, no team in the Premier League concedes goals like this. It's almost like he knows he's on his way out. He knows he's not getting the technical. So he's just jabbing at them all the time. He clearly knows football. I'm not disputing it, but in terms of actually having the ability to turn those players around, and it's partly on the players as well. A lot of them aren't interested, are they? Yeah. A lot of them out the door. See you later. Yeah. They don't see the process. They don't see the long-term vision. There isn't one. It's a toxic club. Like it has been for years.
There's not enough winners. There's not enough winning managers. Because less teams win now and every league is becoming farmers' leagues, there isn't as many of these managers that can say, I've turned a club from top four to Champions League winners to Premier League winners. And, when you look at Manchester United, the last two appointments have been managers that, let's be honest, Rangnick has won nothing really in terms of huge success. Solskjaer was from Molde. I mean, he got Cardiff relegated. He's not done what Spurs did, for example. And, Mourinho was the winner, but it didn't work. So we go and get a slightly younger model of Mourinho in a Conte who literally just doesn't give a shit. Will literally say to the point, look, I'm essentially going to be leaving if the board don't do what I like. And that is exactly the sort of manager that Manchester United needed. Someone who literally will say to the board, you don't have a clue what you're doing. And if you're giving me the job, I do it my way or no fucking way.
Yeah.
But while they're like that, I don't mind.
No, exactly. I agree. And it was more so like the way people react as though like Gary Neville saying, "Oh, nah, that's not a fit for Man United and all. What you don't want to win games." I could never get my head around that bit, but it is what it is. Like you say, enjoy it while it lasts because it probably won't last forever. Lads, do you think Arteta's in trouble at all?
Depends how far he falls, doesn't it? Yeah. I think it's I do sympathise with people that aren't in on Arteta because I do feel that Arsenal is such a big club. Them being outside the top four regularly really genuinely isn't good. They have spent money over the past 2 seasons or so. They've definitely backed him. I think if he can finish 5th or even 6th, I think Arsenal as a club view that as progress. And I appreciate not from where they've been, but in going from 8th and then 5th is the progression. The one thing it will do is that I do think there will be pressure on him from next season. If he does get backed again and he is able to bring players in, then I think that's a legitimate argument for Arsenal fans to turn around and say, you've had your money, we've improved, we need to keep improving. If you can't do it, you've got to go. So I think it's kind of on that. They've gone through that gutting of the squad. They've done everything that they needed to do, but they are at that pinch point now where he does need to be consistent and there does need to be, the squad needs to fill out basically. But he'd have to really crash out. He'd have to crash out of Europe, I think, for him to be sacked.
Do you know, I was just about to say, I completely agree. I think if they get top 6 this season, based on where they've been, I think that will just about appease the fans. And I think it'll be enough for the board. If they have a shocking start, then Arteta, it wouldn't surprise me if a Gerrard or an Arteta or if Everton stay up a Lampard, they're one of the first managers to go. Because these younger managers who, aren't necessarily used to the pressures of competing in the Premier League as a manager. I just think one of those three is my tip to be first sacked, I think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds, because you do have to throw into the mix the fact that Arsenal haven't had, I think Oscar was mentioning it last week, like they haven't had Europe to contend with. So then if you throw in Europe with it as well on the squad, the inexperience, that'll be interesting to see how it does happen. Obviously, fixtures this week in the Premier League. I think Wednesday Everton play Leicester. Mike, obviously, I know you've got some difficult games, but your home form's been the thing that will keep you safe. Do you think you'll win that one on Wednesday against Leicester?
I think we need to win it. It's not a case of I think we will. I don't care how we win, really. We just need to win. If we win, then that's a positive 6-point gap on Burnley. That's exactly what we need. I think you need between 6 and 9 points, and you'll be safe. We've got some really tough games after the Leicester game, i.e. Liverpool away, Chelsea at home. So which is mad me saying this, but if Everton can pick up 4 points out of those 3 games, I would be chuffed at that going into games at home against Crystal Palace and Brentford. So, 3 points is an absolute must against Leicester, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know how we'll do it. Like, don't ask me tactics, set up, anything about Everton. Just get 3 points. That's simple.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'll be watching the game. I'll probably be doing a watch along, to be fair, because it does concern Leeds United, and I will be supporting Brendan Rodgers, Leicester City for that game, mate. I can't lie.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Listen, I think
I bought the Everton army with me on Sunday for you. I literally
did.
bought them over. I was like,
did.
everyone, get in. I think you won. I think he was on about 280 viewers to about 400. I was like, come on, Joe!
Yeah, man. I did. I seen him come. Big shout out for that, actually. And I got some new subscribers. So big shout out, Mike, for bringing the Everton army. Yeah, it was good. But listen, I've got to look after number one, Anna. I've got to look after number one. So hopefully you get beat, Burnley get beat, and then we beat Palace. I think by the time we next play, we'll actually have a game. Burnley will have a game in hand in us. So they'll have played 4 times since we last played. So we'll actually know where the land lies. So I think, I think we'll be all right. But as for tonight, boys, I think we've covered everything. I was going to speak a little bit about Newcastle and Bruno Guimaraes, but I think we'll be all right. He's a bit of a baller. I think that's all we need to say. Newcastle are actually decent. I think
Eddie Howe's done a brilliant job.
Yeah, like there's only Liverpool. Let's talk about it. There's only Liverpool that have more points and more wins since the turn of the year, I think. Is that right?
Something like that. Scary.
Sounds very believable. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. And I think Bruno Guimaraes now it's only his second start. He won't get in because obviously Willock, Shelvey, etc. were all performing so well. But now that he's started to get in, and do you know what? I was listening to an interview that he did earlier on. I was sat in the garden. And he's talking about, I want to do 100 games here, and I want to be a legend at this club. And I was thinking, oh man, you are so lucky, Newcastle, because like normally in that scenario, like a player like him comes to your club, let's say like a Rafinha or a Declan Rice, I can't really think of any ever currently anyway, but like elite ballers that are destined, and you're thinking, I love it right now, but you are going to leave eventually. But Newcastle fans, with the situation they find them in, when he's speaking like that, you're thinking, he's not going anywhere. They're just going, and I was so jealous hearing him saying, I love Newcastle. I want to play 100 games. I want to be a legend here. And I was like, oh man, you're so lucky, yeah. Good.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible as well, isn't it? Like, I have nothing against like your average Newcastle fan. But as a club, there was one club I would not want to be invested in to the point that Newcastle are, and it is them, because they do rub it in your face when they beat you. Like, it's horrible at Goodison when Newcastle win. I don't know if you guys have experienced it, but honest to God, it's horrendous.
Yeah, they love it. I remember when we got beat off Alan Saint-Maximin had a worldie against Zabaleta at the London Stadium, and they were buzzing, like they let us know on the way home, like what happened. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But, I mean, it's a weird one in a way. Having owners that they've had and having owners that we've got, I know what they feel. And I think the biggest thing for them isn't necessarily the signings they've got. They've been able to kind of foster that feeling of we're going somewhere. There's an ambition there. And I think Bruno Guimaraes is a player that seems to just understand it.
Yeah.
And I think that he's in and around other players like Dan Burn. He's obviously a Geordie. He gets it.
Yeah.
But I think
Joel Linton's obviously been there a while, and he's a new player, like reformed, isn't he? You know what I mean?
But Bruno Guimaraes is a top player, and how they got him, obviously it's money, and money does talk. But he is serious. He's a serious player, and he knows what's coming in the summer. So he's not. I don't think he's concerned that he's going to be around. With all due respect, a Ryan Fraser or even a Shelby. I think he knows that he's going to have a top quality team.
And that's the thing. He was even speaking about Eddie Howe. Obviously, he's going to say nice things, but he was quite glowing towards him as well. So fair play, because I was convinced Eddie Howe was going to get sacked and Rafa was going to come in before the season was done. I kept saying it because Rafa was going like this at Everton. And obviously, it didn't get off to a great start for Eddie Howe, but he's got him flying now. And look, money does talk, but he's done it with largely the same squad. And Trippier's been out. I know Dan Burn. Will Dan Burn be there? Will Chris Wood be there in 2 seasons? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? But they can be afforded that luxury. And look, the more up there, the better, I guess. I guess what we'll have to do in order to reel the top 6 in is all just get cash-rich owners and we'll all just be mega rich. Do you know what I mean? Just ensure that when we spend our money, we spend it wisely, unlike Everton. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not $500 million on rubbish.
Don't spend £580 million on complete
That is
shit.
crazy. Wow. That is unbelievable. Because there was a long time, wasn't there, with Everton where they were like, if we just get a little bit of investment, we're gonna push, and then they've got it, and it's just never happened.
Thanks. Honestly,
sorry, mate.
It's so great, and it's being Everton fan. Like it truly is sensational.
Where did it go wrong, Mike? At which point was it like? Because obviously you got going under Ancelotti for a bit, didn't you? And then, at which point do you think this is where we started to just go?
Mate, honestly, the more I look at where we are in this current Everton team, the more I sort of think. To put it in context, from 10th last season to 17th, obviously it went wrong at some point under Rafa. James Rodriguez going. Another number 10, Gylfi Sigurdsson, hasn't been seen all season for various reasons. Luca Dean leaving, etc. Your creativity, Calvert-Lewin. There's been a few reasons why it's gone from 10th to 17th. But honestly, the downfall was literally the moment Farhad Moshiri walked into our football club and give us 580 million. And literally, the man has the size brain of a pigeon. It's a complete waste of time. So, mate, bring back David Moyes and no money to spend.
Yeah.
He's got that West Ham anyway.
Mate, he's honestly, literally, there was a few Everton fans at the start of the season that truly believed that Moyes would still consider leaving West Ham for Everton. And I sat there and I thought, why would he do that? Why?
I seen you put something on Twitter saying you took a bit of stick when you suggested it or something like that.
Mate, honestly, I got dragged over the coals for it. Why are you bringing Moyes back?
Retweet it, mate. Retweet it now.
Tweet it back. Honestly, mate. There was honestly, I've had loads of stick for loads of things that I've ended up being right on. So, just give me 3 years, and everything I say comes true.
Do you know what though? I seen our good friend Connor tweeting out earlier on about Lewis O'Brien at Huddersfield, and obviously Huddersfield flying in the Championship. A lot of Leeds fans turned their nose up at him, and I made the point of there were Leeds fans out there that said we shouldn't have signed Conor Gallagher because he were playing in a poor West Brom side, and look where he ended up. You know what I mean? So, you should listen to content creators because they know what they're talking about half of the time.
Except when I dug out Craig Dawson, and now he's the best team. God knows how.
It's true though. Yeah, it's good. Matt, just to say, look, Matt did show his face because Nicholas Griffin says he avoids the show when they lose. And to be fair, he does. Like, he does avoid the show just because he's in the chat. He's not here taking and hammering, is he? He comes out with some stuff that he's working or whatever. I believe he doesn't have a job. You know what I mean? He just talks west. Anyway, I'm joking. He's an analyst. I think he'll have been watching Championship, maybe. By the way, Nottingham Forest are 4-0 up. And if there's one side, just a little side note, that I would like to see get promoted, it is Nottingham Forest, because they are an absolutely huge club. And deserve to be back because they've been through some shit times as well. So hopefully Forest can get back. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Listen, like the video, everyone. I've really enjoyed tonight's show. Mike, thank you for giving me longer than you originally said. It means an awful lot, pal. Oscar, hope you get some power soon.
Set up a GoFundMe page for him.
And Corey, thank you as always, mate. You're an absolute legend. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Their links are in the description. And yeah, Matt is on what is it called these days? It's not Job Seekers anymore, is it? It's Universal Credit. I don't know what it is in Northern Ireland. It might be something different actually over there. But yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thank you as always, and enjoy your week. Peace out.